Welcome to our entryway. If you're new here, my name's Kathryn, and my husband Jimmy and I bought a 1796 colonial stucco over stone farmhouse earlier this year, and we have slowly been doing the micro projects to make it our own home. So today I wanted to walk through and review our entry space. Now, I've been doing this series and been doing kind of two parts to it, a building portion and then a staging portion, as a lot of our pieces within our home we craft ourselves. But this space honestly just came together so quickly because I was tired of it one day and didn't want to put it off anymore. So I figured I would just throw in some B-roll and tell you the story of this little nook beside our front door. This nook basically consists of three main items that we wanted to be sure to prioritize. Number one, which was an entry table drop zone. We have our sunglasses here. Sometimes we'll throw a hat here. We'll throw the dog's leash here. Maybe some change from the end of the day as well. And so we just wanted to be sure to have a drop zone that allowed us to go ahead and literally just throw whatever comes out of our hands, out of our cars, onto this table before putting it in its home at the end of the day. Number two, I wanted to be sure that we put a mirror in this space. Now, this space overall is our living space. It is fairly dark. I would say that this is the darkest room in the home, and that's because of a number of reasons, but mainly because we have a wraparound porch. So the porch does a really, really great job of keeping the house cool, as well as the stucco over stone infrastructure. But, right, this is the room that gets the least amount of light, to which then you have the conversation of, well, how do we make sure that we are getting as much light in this room as possible, or the idea of as much light in this room as possible. And that's where I love throwing mirrors in. We went ahead and installed this mirror just to allow the light to bounce around more from the back of house windows to the front. We have another mirror over kind of diagonal to this mirror. So we wanted to be sure to include a mirror just to bounce around some light, some textures, kind of just make the space feel a little bit more organic. And number three, what we really wanted to ensure that we had here as well is some source of actual lighting. I have had a set of these lamps since 2021. They're actually down at Karen, New York, and I feel like I got them at like HomeSense back in the day, and they're this black marble with your brass and then a really neutral canvas shade. I really enjoyed these lamps, but I knew that we didn't have a home for them in our living space, which is traditionally where they've lived, and I knew that the scale of these lamps would not fit in our bedrooms upstairs with shorter ceilings. So I decided to put one here and then one in the landing foyer upstairs. I'm really not a fan of any direct lighting, so at night we'll have this on with our sconces, and it just really warms up the room. Also, on a cloudy day like today, that's a bit overcast as well. So those were really the three features that we wanted to be sure that we had. Number one, a drop zone. Number two, a mirror to bounce some light around. And then number three, we wanted to have a lighting source. With that, now I'd love to kind of tell you the story behind each of these materials and how they all came into the space together. So as noted with this space, we really had some of the base level stuff put in fairly early prior to full move-in, and then we've gone ahead and really just in the past 2 days completed this area of the home. So walking through kind of where we sourced everything and the story behind it. Obviously, we've already touched on this lamp. I love these lamps so much too. I just think that they are such a transitional piece. So I really have just always loved this black marble, and then your brass, and then the neutral canvas of the shade. When it comes to light bulbs, I love to say around like 2700 Kelvin. I love a warm light. I hate a cold light. I just hate it. I just don't think they belong in homes. I think they belong in environments that require attention to detail in a way that requires you to execute things like hospitals and workshops. That's where I believe that bright lights belong. We got this table off of Facebook Marketplace. I'll throw in some B-roll so that you can see more of the detail of it, but we actually received this table from a woman who owns a house from the 1800s in Westchester. It was really, really cool because we told her we were buying this property and she welcomed us into her home. We got to see it all and just talk about being stewards of these historic homes. That is where we got this table from. I like that it has kind of corkscrew spool style legs, bobbin style legs. I am a big fan of spool and bobbin style legs. So anytime that I can get a kind of funky leg, something with texture and something with kind of organic shapes integrated into it, I will buy that piece of furniture. This tray and this bowl are very important and they actually serve very big purposes on this table. This tray I have had forever. I received it from my mom and my mom has had it forever. One day it was bestowed onto me. I was probably like 12 and I've just kept it ever since. I love this tray so much. This is in a bedroom typically, but I really just wanted to have it in a space that it will be seen every day, used every day, and appreciated every day compared to just something that used to hold perfumes and jewelry and stuff along those lines. So I went ahead and allowed this to be kind of our drop zone for sunglasses. We typically have all of our sunglasses here because I have left so many pairs in many of different cars. This is now the drop zone for sunglasses so that I don't leave them and then I don't get mad at myself because they're in somebody else's car or a car that is not at our home. Then this bowl is kind of our drop zone for change throughout the day, the dog's leash, everything like that in this bowl. Maybe an extra lip gloss every once in a while if it's not already in my purse, I will keep in this bowl. And this bowl we actually received in a lot that we sourced for our wedding. Jimmy and I went ahead and made the executive decision after looking at it that it was actually cheaper to just purchase a ton of china secondhand than it was to rent it or to buy from a restaurant supplier. So we went ahead and actually purchased all of our wedding china, about 100 sets of china, and some of that came with serveware, and we bought some serveware separately as well. So we have this bowl from that. And then we have this photo of Jimmy and I. This was our engagement photo shoot and it was storming that night, and after the storm the sun set and it was like this big pink sky behind us. It was beautiful. So we have this photo in a frame. This crucifix my mom actually brought back from Medjugorje. It's gone twice, and this was from her most recent trip about 2 years ago. We always keep this crucifix by our door. We actually haven't ever been able to put it above our door in any of our homes because your ceilings are so short in this home. And then also in our apartment, in our loft, the post and beam ran and the posts ran right to our door. So we've always just had this to the left of our door. And then this mirror is a side of the road find. Probably about a month before Jimmy and I purchased this property, maybe even 3 weeks before, because we were under contract here. Somebody had just a bunch of furniture on the side of the road that they were cleaning out. We were on our way to dinner with Jimmy's parents, and Jimmy was like, let's pull over. And we loaded up a dresser, a frame, and this mirror. It was originally wood, and we know how I feel about painting wood. I really don't enjoy it, but this room has so much wood in it. This is actually the only thing that's painted in this whole room. Everything else is wood or a textile. I went ahead and had extra paint and still have a ton of extra paint from our hutch that we did for the kitchen. So I went ahead and painted this again. This room is just the darkest room in the house, and I really felt like we already had a very dark table. We needed something light here, and I knew I wanted this here, but it just didn't feel like it worked the way it was. And we picked it up off the side of the road. We're already upcycling it. So I did decide to paint it and seal it, and I'm very, very happy we did. I feel like it's a little sprinkle of what this room needed. We really love blues. We also love greens, but we have a lot of blues and light greens throughout this space, and I felt like this was really needed to tie in and to communicate with other subsections of this front room. So that is what happened there. About 2 days ago, I went ahead and organized everything on the table. And then yesterday, Jimmy went ahead and hung the frame for us. And that is why this is already done. The lamp and the table were here probably like a month ago. Everything else kind of filtered into place about 2 days ago. And then this went up yesterday, and I said, oh my gosh, this is already done. That is the story behind this space.